Hi, hello. I'm Pirate of Rohan, and finally putting my YouTube channel to good use. I mean, I'm using it. This is a poor attempt to conceal my identity on the internet because I'm ever so slightly paranoid. And I'm going to attempt an American accent in because I am an American and I don't want to be pretentious. So I want to apologize first if I could, during my video, I intend to put in script the description, and it will be sort of a streamline of what I'm ranting about, and I'll take the more emotionally charged moments. But basically, my first rant, and I intend there to be several ways on the same topic. But anyway, my first rant is on Padme Amidala's treatment in the film Revenge of the Sith. I find it impossible to talk about Padme's character in Revenge of the Sith without briefly going over the prequels. So imagine, if you will, a young boy having just watched the trilogy on the two remastered versions, behest of his parents, and now popping in the Phantom Menace. And when I say teen, actually probably younger, 12, popping in the Phantom Menace and seeing, Sith, Jar Jar, but also really complex things like Slay, a Swedish single mother in a galaxy far, far away. Some racist, well, definitely racist caricatures, and a 14-year-old girl, the Queen of Naboo, who is a strong believer in democracy, very independent, very kick-ass. And this time that I was reading the Young Jedi Knight books with Jason and Jaina and Ka and Loian, there's a 4-year-old who is just amazing. And just that blew me away, because she not only is she competent, but she has handmaidens who are clearly, at the very least, the best of friends. There's sort of subterfuge, and it was really incredible to see, because she's the protagonist of that film. There's no debating that. And so I go to Clones, because maybe I'm not watching it for Anakin, Ewan McGregor yet, but I'm more of Padme too. So I pop it in, and 10 years later, she's a senator now. She's taking part in democracy, what I perceived as a more intimate level. It's on a larger scale. It's involved in the Republic. Still as strong-willed and taking care of herself and everything as old. The little idea of using herself is to capture the... you'd think maybe a handmaiden, because she does still have her decoys, but to do it herself, and she has faith in the abilities, and she has herself to not die, and it's her that just, no, we're going to go rescue Obi-Wan, count orders, and there is a RotS subplot. It didn't take away from it. I want to emphasize that. Having a romance with Anakin did not subtract from just a and the character Padme was. I mean, there are moments during the Battle of Geonosis where she had her shirt ripped off for no other reason than to objectify women, I guess. That's frustrating. It really is, because it's... But we can't change what's in the film. So, we reach Revenge of the Sith, and Padme is like a different person. Her only purpose, most of the film, is she's carrying Anakin's children, and Anakin is having visions of her dying of death. That's her only purpose in the film. And I mean, part of it is because she actually, there are deleted scenes where she started what would become, sort of be carried on and become the Rebel Alliance with Bail Organa and Mon Mothma, some other senators, the delegation of 2000, to sort of curb some of Palpatine's, questionable tendencies. I mean, if that was in the film, then some of her character would remain into. So I mean, that would have helped. But the thing that I really want to talk about is her death. Because that's what really gets me. Because I can sort of ignore the other bits, keeping in mind the scenes. Because if I have those in my mind, then yes, Padme had a more proactive role in the film. But then you get to a death scene. And, okay, yes, her death was inevitable to some point, because even in Return of the Jedi it's implied, though, sort of implied that she would have lived longer than childbirth, but I'm not getting into that. Because the prequels happened, George changed his mind, let's stick with it. Please, just for this moment. And I completely understand the symmetry involved in having her die and Vader rise, and the irony in trying to prevent her death, but having it happen despite surprisingly idiotic. Not surprisingly idiotic, I mean, it's normal level of idiot. Let's I understand the mythical element of the prequels and the mythic storyline and Dive's broken heart and whatever, how that's a true mythology. I understand that, but 2005, okay? George Lucas, who helped give us Princess Leia, one of the most kick-ass female characters of all time, 1977. Just what the George? The fuck did... Why did you... Okay. Yeah, it's not fucking acceptable. Alright? No. You don't see... Guys. Even if you... you can't fridge female characters anymore. Just randomly. Alright? This is something that has been a common trope in literature, and this is why we haven't reached equality yet, because that sort of trend is still sort of a second-class thing. So, there is a theory going around, a fan theory, about that the reason Padme died wasn't she lost the will to live, but Sidious drained her life and gave it to Anakin to keep him alive. I treat this like I treat the Darth Jar Jar theory. It's a nice thought, But no, because, I mean, I love to hate she, which is the next person, really. But good old Sheev Palpatine. I don't like him that kind of power. I totally within. I'm not the power does exist, but I think it's cool that you could hand wave it like that, especially because the theory largely based on circumstantial evidence, based on the way the scenes are edited. To use if that Padme's funeral is shown after and Padme's death is shown or rises, so it must have happened at the same time. Like that's a poetic editing choice. It's gorgeous in my opinion to like the heartbeats in the soundtrack. I mean, it's very well, but it doesn't as far as narrative progression, like in that in like chronological, like it could very well have long before Vader rose on the operating table and word, I mean, especially the funeral procession, like there's at least days here. So I'm going to offer an alternative. And the alternative theory is, one, the medical droid, whose nation has no fucking clue what a human being is. They do have human being days, and so are sitting it for the closest human species they can get. She's completely medically healthy. I don't have any fucking clue why. So that's one option. Like, she has a fuckload of internal injuries and crap that is killing her, and the medical droid is not picking up on it. The second one that, and I want to emphasize first, because Padme spoke and made stuff pretty clear, Anakin's force choke didn't have, I mean, there was no, like, the trachea, that was all fine. She was able to speak. But she did fall on coat. I'm saying Padme was completely medically healthy, within, I've just had 2 children. But the twins, I'm going to say the twins were the... And so Padme is losing the will to live, is essentially giving her life for her twins via the Force. Like, the Force here, so plea or whatever, and it's to kind of break. Like, that's the way some sense of agency restored to Padme's death. Like, she isn't losing the will to live. She's giving herself over to the Force for her children. Like I should. So, I want to just point out, dying of childbirth, from Padme's point of view, is like impossible. Alright, she's a senator, a high-ranking senator. In the Inner Rim, she has medical care, it's just not going to happen. Anakin, however, that's a very real possibility, because he grew as a slave in the armpit of the universe. He probably had friends that their mothers died of childbirth, because that place, you really think they get decent medical care? No, so it's a perfectly reasonable fear for Anakin to have. Not for Padme. And I want to say, I'm not saying that stress didn't play a role, because in emotional state, but it would have to take days, hours. I mean, no, she had perfect reason to be emotionally distressed. Let's do that, shall we? The Republic, the democracy that she had taken part in, throughout her entire life, at one stage or another, had been completely dismantled by the man that she herself helped put in office. Furthermore, her husband, with whom she has an unhealthy codependent relationship with, has decided that the only way he can save her from dying of childbirth is by going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and murdering a bunch of people. I don't know. Alright, so no, she has perfect reason to be emotionally distressed, but that didn't kill her. Like, I've given my 2 cents on that. Like, medical droids are fucking idiots, or she willingly gave her life with the help of the Force to save her children. I mean, that's the best I can do with what we were given. And that saves Padme for me as much as I can, because she deserved better. She really did. Rant over, I guess. Subscribe, maybe? You know, I like Doctor Who. I'm probably going to rant about the Dalek hierarchy. So, that's not something you ever wanted to know, but I'm going to try and parse it out anyway. Catch you on the flip side.